Slab Hub.
Hey there, comic book friends and fiends. It's Rob and Chris. We're back. Did you miss us? Last week you had Son of Slab Hub. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Dropped while we were gone at C2E2. And Chris picked up. Now go ahead. Hold on. Let me get you up bigger because you deserve to show that one. That is a sexy, sexy book. Chris's big boy pickup from C2E2. Fantabulous.
Yeah, I was just looking. It actually finishes 1 to 11. Because
Nice.
Mysterio is 12. No,
Right.
Doc Ock
is
is 12.
12.
I think I actually have that. So I'm.
It's the
Yeah,
purple, the purple,
Yeah, the
or, no,
unmasking,
the yellow
right?
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, the unmasking yellow.
Yeah,
I know I have it. Couldn't remember which one it was off the top of my head. No, I didn't pick up any big slabs at C2E2. I had picked up one slab, one little $50 slab.
Well,
it was a Steve
I was gonna
Ditko.
say, right?
Yeah.
But for anyone that's an ASM fan, that is actually a big book. It's Ditko pre ASM, right, or pre Marvel,
Right. Well, yeah, 1959.
Yeah.
Charleston Comics. That's up on my IG. If you're interested in seeing it, that was today's post for IG. But I did pick up a dozen sub 100 ASM books or whatever. So it was successful anyways. Matter of fact, I was just prepping my stack of stuff to go out to the Rogue Trader, and it's quite the extensive run. Anyways, we're not here to talk about us. We're here to talk about our guest today with us, joining us all the way from not Canada, not California.
Somewhere in the
Jason, the Southern Comic
Mississippi.
Mississippi, fantabulous. So we have set up our own triangle, kind of sideways, whatever. We're all here, and it's all about you today. We're going to be going on a journey into your slab collection, which I understand. I have seen some pieces of it here and there, and I could say that one could be green with envy on some of your books.
I see what you did there.
I am nothing if not clever at times. Momentary bouts of cleverness. Anyways, to those of you guys who are joining us in the audience, let's say hello to a few people before we get started. Of course, always our man from allegedly New Mexico, Let's Crucius, 1971. Happy to have you there. The White Tiger, cool, calm, collected, joins us. Chop and Drop, Stephen C., War Machine, Punisher, Comics and Collectibles. Happy to have you join us. Miss So up in Chicago. Happy to have you, or Illinois. I don't know if you're necessarily in Chicago. Who cares? Illinois in Chicago region. And of course, look at that. Mr. DJ Lynx is gracing us with he's kind of a fan of the green.
Yeah. I've heard
Green
that.
Man.
I've heard that about
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and move you into the position of honor. And actually, before we get started, I wanted to drop one piece of news that dropped as it relates to comic book pressing and slabs, because this is what we do here. Of course, throughout the conversations, if you guys have any questions about not just Jason's collection, but comic book pressing, or not necessarily pressing so much, but comic book slab grading through any of the companies, feel free to fire them off. We're here to answer the questions the best we can. Between the three of us, we have some pretty extensive knowledge on the various grading companies. But a new piece of information had dropped this week. CGC announced that paid members get a new benefit now. Now they can see the grader's notes, if provided, to any book, any CGC book. So you no longer have to be the one who submitted the book. And that was always a drawback, is if you'd sent a book in through a facilitator, you couldn't see your own grader's notes. Or if I bought a book from, say, Jason or Chris, I wouldn't be able to see those grader's notes myself unless I paid extra for it. Now, it's still behind a paywall. So it means if you're not a paid member of CGC, you can't see the grader's notes, which CBCS and PGX still make available for free to anyone. But it's a step in the right direction. I was super happy to try to figure out how to do it, and apparently I figured it out. It's not intuitive, but all you need to do is go to the certification verification window, where before you would type in a certification number and it would verify that it, what book it was supposed to be with that number. Now you go to that same window and now it will also populate the grader's notes. So I was super happy to try it out. Immediately rushed to grab my Batman Silver Age Scarecrow, the 7.0, popped in the cert number and was found out that there's no grader's notes on a flippin' 7.0 comic book.
What?
Yeah, exactly. But I was able to verify on my first Ra's al Ghul that faded line was a printing defect and was the reason why it got the grade knock on it. So it wasn't some kind of like sun fading after it got slapped. So that was good to be able to check out and see. Thoughts?
I kind of think I kind of think it's 2 steps forward, 1 back. Again, like CBCS, PGX, I don't want to say they're ahead of the game, but they've set the standard now with free notes, right? Like I would love to find out my father's Turok book that I own from the original run of Turok in the 50s. I would love to find out why is it a 2.0? Like I thought I thought it was clean and pressed. It came back at 2.0. Was I disappointed? A little bit. But again, the book is like say 70 years old.
You're not a member
right?
not a paid member of CGC.
Right, I'm not a paid member right now. So, I would love for them to open up that avenue to find out if it's free. So like I said, 2 steps forward, but 1 back. Like I know it's not that expensive to join. However, it's just when you compare, to CBCS and PGX, like they're still trailing behind. And again, they're opening up that road for CBCS to catch them, because let's be honest, this calendar year CBCS has really made a name for itself. Like every time I'm watching an unbox video, it's 50-50 now that it's going to be CGC or CBCS where books have been submitted. And whereas a couple of years ago, especially at the beginning of COVID, it was all CGC.
Yeah, I think that this is a direct reaction to CBCS, and they're gaining some market share, as was to put the spotlight, flip it the other way though, because I want to be unbiased in this whole situation. I mean, obviously, we have seen the news recently that CGC has said that they've cleared their backlog and they're receiving books right away. Whereas I received a notification yesterday from CBCS that they received a set of comics at their facility and put it into staging, which is not officially in the system yet. It'll still take 8 to 10 weeks before they get it into the system to then go the rest of the way. So they're basically in that same backlog situation of just receiving books in that CGC was. At least for those, unless you're paying for faster service on it. So that's kind of disappointing a little bit there. But at least I am getting notification that the books are at their facility, which before CGC just basically said, well, run the tracking number and see if it got delivered here. Anywho, so let's get into this. We gave ourselves a little bit of news. Obviously, Chris, if you send me that number, I'll run the number for you and get you your grader's notes, obviously. But Jason, welcome to the show. Time to show us some sexy slabs.
Oh, slabs?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying abs.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you are a sexy slab. I don't know.
I've got some abs somewhere under there.
Well, I do too. They're just buried under fat.
Yeah.
Actually, it's so much. You know how when you you work out and you get the bulging muscles? That's all it is. I've just been working out my abs so much. It's one giant bulging muscle.
You just lift. It's all them lifting in them slabs.
That's right. Lifting boxes of comics and sitting on my ass.
It will do it to you.
My 8-ounce coffee curls.
So is no order of favorite or anything like that.
Excellent. We like random.
Random. Okay.
Whichever you like to do.
How about a TMNT #1.
Oh my
Ooh,
goodness.
Oh, in a 9.6. Look at that. I said, let's bring on some sexy slabs. And Jason goes, oh, you want sexy?
Yeah,
Here you
we're
go.
not going in any sort of.
So what people will find out about the slabs that I show off today, that to me, it's as much about the story of getting the book, behind the book, than it is necessarily with the grade or even the value of the book in some cases. If people have probably heard this story before, but I was actually on a YouTube auction, and the guy that put this up, he added it to a stack of Mirage turtle stuff, some science stuff. It was already worth its value. And he said, well, if we get it up to 500, I'll throw this book in there. It was raw at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And that auction lasted an hour and a half, that lot.
Wow.
And finally he gave up. He had no timer. It was so disorganized. I was, long story short, very lucky to have gotten the books, because some other people did not get their books from said seller. But I did. I had it pressed, submitted, and unfortunately came back a 9.6.
Which printing is that one?
This is the third printing.
Okay.
Still very cool.
Yeah. Now, generally speaking, I know Rob and I always say first printing or no printing, but when it comes to that particular
It's a little different
issue, that's a little bit of a different animal. You know, a Turtles one at this point, in my opinion, any printing like 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, you know, it's pretty special.
The difference with this book, though, Chris, when we say our first printing or no printing, is at least it follows the order, which should. First printing is valued higher than the third printing. It's when those third printings or something are worth more than the first printing that I have real issues. But that is a beautiful book,
and that's a newer thing to the hobby, because when I was collecting before, second and third printings is like, throwaway stuff.
Right?
It was
they're because you missed out. It's the consolation prize.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be viewed as the, oh, look, I got something better.
Yeah, but like you were saying, with the third print on the TMNT, it's kind of like what Master Yoda said: do or do not. There is no try, because you're either going to get a third print or nothing. The first or second is kind of priced out.
Yeah,
awesome. James Willie, up. Oh, well, we're hoping you're going to show us more than just one. That was the strip tease there. So.
The strip tease. Well, I should have just dropped it on you like that.
Oh,
wow. Okay. Let's do this. How about Batman #8?
I love some Golden Age Batman.
Oh my goodness.
From 1941.
Oh my goodness.
This is the Infinity cover.
That's a very meta.
Wow.
So the interesting thing about this particular book was it must have been meant to be in my collection. I bid on this book on a YouTube auction and got outbid. Let the other guy have it. I'm on my way to a con several months later, and I noticed this guy puts up a book looking just like this. The other one was raw. And I said, man, I've been wanting to get that book ever since I seen it on that YouTube auction. And so we work out a deal, and I sell it, or buy it rather. So the guy sends a picture to me, and I send a picture to the guy I had bid on previously. I said, look, man, ever since you showed me that book, I've been wanting to get it. And he goes, dude, that's my book. So the guy who sold it to me is the guy that beat me out of the auction.
Wow. He slabbed it for you.
He slabbed it for me, and I paid less from him than what I would have paid for it raw.
Oh, that's just awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why can't I find those? Wow. Hey Chris, I'll give you $200 for your ASM too.
I'd still be up $100 then.
Yeah,
there you
see?
Go. What's wrong with that, Chris? Quit being greedy.
I'm going to double your money. Hey, you know what? I'll sweeten the pot. It'll be American.
All right, it's like $125, $130 Canadian. All right, making money.
So, got to throw some Valiant love in here somewhere. How about an Archer and Armstrong #0, the gold printing?
Okay,
I bought this raw, and even though it's a gold, is not typically a big book to get, but this one is signed, as you can see with the yellow label. It's signed by Bob Layton, which is not a particularly hard signature to get, but it's also signed by Barry Windsor Smith.
Oh boy!
Nice.
Oh, now we're talking.
Not one you see very often, but got it pressed, came back a 7.5 white pager with verified signatures there. So wanted to have that in the collection with the little BWS action.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Barry Windsor Smith. That's that might be the first time I've actually seen a Windsor Smith autograph on SlabHub. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I even collect the rune stuff, if that tells you. I mean, because it certainly wasn't the story. I was carrying rune.
I tell you what I'm waiting for, Chris. I'm waiting for someone to drop a John Byrne signature on us, because that's one you don't see either.
Yeah.
So Web of Spider-Man 32.
Yeah.
Classic story with Craven's Last Hunt, but this one's got some scribbling on it. I got this signed by Mike Zeck, Bob McLeod, and J.M. DeMatteis at GalaxyCon 3 years ago now. Yeah.
Nice.
It's
one
a
of Chris's
newsstand.
favorite stories.
Yeah. To me, it's the greatest. It's the greatest comic book story ever told. It's hands down the best Spider-Man story
It's certainly
ever
up there.
told. Sometimes I say The Killing Joke or The Death of or Craven's Last Hunt, but it depends on the day. But yeah, I can see that you have The Killing Joke behind on your left there, and yeah, those two to me, those are the best two stories that I've ever read.
Well, this one, besides the newsstand and all those signatures on it, it has something else in it. It's a Mark Jewelers.
Nice.
Wow, I didn't even know there was a Mark Jewelers for those.
And of course, saying it's a Mark Jewelers and a newsstand is kind of redundant because all Mark Jewelers are newsstands. But
not all newsstands are Mark Jewelers.
Very true, my friend. So that is a PGX slab, which you'll see all of the slab companies represented here today.
Ooh, we're going to see an EGS slab.
You are. Speaking of which,
Nice.
I'll just go ahead and show it. This was done for me by a member of the community.
Wow.
Chris, Cardboard Crazies.
Yes.
Did this. He put out there that, hey, I got these sketchbooks. We talked about it. He did this live on his show one Saturday morning.
Terrific.
And so I got to watch it being created. And he sent it off to EGS. And this was supposed to have been my first EGS slab, but long story short, it got held up. And the book that Tyler drew on actually became my first EGS slab that I bought when they were doing their cancer fund. So yeah, you'll see a little bit of all of the slab companies.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah, it's
underappreciated character. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%, James. That is an absolute beautiful cover.
Yeah,
no doubt.
So a classic Wolverine #1. This one is signed by Chris Claremont.
Nice.
And this was my second submission, and I was still a noob, if you will, getting back into comics. Slabbing wasn't a thing back when I collected prior. So when I sent this in, I didn't even have it pressed. And there are certainly a lot of pressable defects on it. I'm never going to, unless I happen to get like Frank Miller or somebody.
Well, there is a Frank Miller signing coming up in January at CGC. I just sent mine that's signed by Claremont and Rubenstein off. And it's one of the cheapest Frank Miller signings I've ever seen, because usually Frank Miller's $2, $2 bills.
Yeah.
It's a normal 125 or 130, I think is what it is for the signature and grading. And you still have time that you could rush it off and get it signed and pressed and regraded if you wanted.
Yeah, the only problem with that would be that I would have to have CGC do the pressing.
Yes, that is but it is a faster pressing because it's Signature Series. Then their Signature Series has an expedited for their signing events, has an expedited cycle. It's not the 7 months cycle that their normal books go through.
Well, yeah, and it's not as much about the time as it was the only time I've ever used them. They tore the cover off my book, and they never owned up to it. And so,
okay, I could see a gun shy there. I've had mine done, including the multiples I just got back, but understood. But incidentally,
so I got that signed in Memphis, 2019, by Claremont, and just got it slabbed there by Facilitator.
No.
So to your earlier point with CGC and the graders notes, I think that's definitely a
Now you
march.
can see the grader's notes on it, which you
Yeah,
couldn't have seen before.
it's a march in the right direction.
Yeah.
I think that if you check their books, they're probably making some decent money on those graders notes, so they're not willing to give up all that money. So this is kind of the compromise, right?
Right.
And like you were kind of saying to Chris a while ago, hey, I got a paid for membership. I'll look it up for you. They know that's going to happen too. So
right.
Oh, yeah.
Which, incidentally, by the way, since we're talking about signature events, don't forget down in the description below, there's a link to my link tree where in my link tree I maintain a upcoming signing events list of not only CGC, CBCS, but also trusted facilitators that I have experience with that I'm willing to sit there and say, hey, yeah, these guys do pretty decent work. All their upcoming signings are there, the deadlines, and hyperlinks to those events. If you're interested in a signing event, check that out for yourself.
So talking about signings, I just sent off 3 books to get signed by George Perez.
Yes.
Who was supposed to be
What
doing
last
a signing.
Yeah.
So my Infinity Gauntlet #1 that I already had Jim Starlin and Joe Rubenstein sign.
Nice.
And then also the first appearance of Deathstroke and first appearance of Nightwing. So
Very good.
Very nice.
But yep. Typically, I don't like the signings. I like the in-person interaction. But obviously, there's exceptions to that. Like with George, are you going to get another chance to see him?
Yeah, and Romero Senior's pretty much wrapping up the ends of his signing events. He's on his kind of last legs.
Sure.
So some of those guys, it's like get it however you can.
So this book looks kind of familiar.
Yeah.
So this is a Batman 50 sketch cover, and Nick Justice did this cover justice because this is a Poison Ivy first appearance homage, obviously, done in Batman animated style.
Wow.
To top it off, it's also signed by all the voice actors.
Wow.
Kevin Conroy, the voice actor of Robin, and then also the voice actor of Poison Ivy. And him, too. But, yeah.
That's fantastic.
I can't even fathom it. I'm sitting here, my mouth is just a gap.
That's incredible.
So, this is a 9.4.
Who cares?
Not a lot of
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
monetary value, but like I was saying, it's just all the story behind it.
The value has nothing to do with the grade on this book, and this is exactly why CBCS, some of these others have art labels at this point. Is the grade will distract from the art that's there, which is just mind-numbing. I mean, can I be adopted by you so when you die I can inherit that book? I mean, that's just like.
And I bought that off an Instagram sale. A guy I bought some stuff from before, he put it up, and I just happened to see like seconds after he posted it, because there was a litany of posts after I snagged that saying, if I was only a few seconds quicker.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's pretty nice to pick up. If y'all, I can keep going on. If y'all want to pause or do anything like that, you just let me know.
When we get about the halfway point, you let us know. Otherwise, we'll just break in here and there. That's just
okay. So
there.
I've got to throw this in.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is my first exclusive for the channel, and it is a Hulk 181 homage. This is one of the regular covers, and there were 50. I got 40. Joel's Collect Entertainment actually kept the other 10, but they're numbered 1 through 50. This is number 1. And you can see Bond, who did a lot of the Negative Space variants, Power Rangers books. He did this cover. And you notice it's got a yellow label because I signed it.
Very cool.
And everybody in the crowd gets one. No, just kidding.
You get one.
Look under your chairs.
You'll see the gold version and the foil version I did the same thing with up here. Those were rarer, and I sold out of those. I actually still have some of the regular ones left.
Very cool. And as long as you're here, tell them how they could get that.
They can contact me on IG, and they can get it for $15 plus shipping.
$15, little man. Just put that shit in his hand.
So I don't know.
So before you go down there, tell everybody. I mean, if just in case somebody doesn't know, you chose to homage a cover, Hulk 181. kind of a big cover to you. It means
Yeah.
something special, right?
Yeah. So I was always a big Hulk and Wolverine fan growing up. The Lou Ferrigno show, and then of course later the X-Men animated series. So I mean, the two were just kind of hand in glove fit. Certainly a book I never thought I would own, but then to have all the various foreigns for it and be able to do the first channel exclusive with an homage to it was certainly fun. And yeah, spoiler alert, you'll see it before we're all done. My copy of the actual 181.
And his mother's name is Martha.
Martha!
Save Martha.
Martha. Why'd you say that name? So I don't know if this counts as 1 or 2.
Who cares?
So check this out.
Connecting covers.
This
Nice.
guy did this sketch cover.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, they got the Exo helmet in the background back there. You got the strings to the boots. I mean, just look at the detail on that Bloodshot. And then to follow it up with the Ninjak slicing, you see the gun
Yeah.
got cut in half right there. I mean, Shadow Man down here. It's just amazing detail. And yeah, did connecting covers. But to your point earlier, what do you do when you first see that CGC score right there?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
attracts an awesome art.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the curse of that white sticker they put on that label.
Yeah, that is. I can see where CBCS doesn't like it, but I go back and forth on it. Another one, Don Perlin sketch cover. So Don Perlin, for those who don't know, co-creator of Bloodshot as well as Moon Knight. And then of course he signed it down there at the bottom.
You can tell on that one, Bloodshot's been riding across the prairies for days.
Yeah, he's a little chafed. But yeah, so Perlin's another one that in his age, he's not going to get around like he used to. But it might be a good segue into this one.
Oh boy.
Never heard of this book.
Yeah, it's a Werewolf by Night 32. So the bigger version, if you can believe it, is the Spanish version, but it didn't get allowed to be on the show because it's not slabbed yet. But I bought this raw.
Pesky host.
I bought this raw from a guy in the community, and I told him, hey, if you ever get ready to sell it, let me know. And about a few months later, he messages me, gives me a price that I can agree on. And this is also the slab that came back with the wrong label. So my Tomb of Dracula 10 that I had, and this one, the labels were backwards. So I had to send it back to CGC.
Imagine QC issues at CGC?
What? Do tell.
I've never heard of that, such a thing.
What do you speak of? Then we got Joker, You're the Villain, but this is a sketch cover done by Tyler Kirkham.
That is a little bit of time spent on that one, too.
Yeah, so you can see Red Hood getting some revenge on that. And
very nice.
You see the signature up there? So Tyler Kirkham was sending, the guy that was with him was sending it straight away to CGC. So I wasn't never going to see it. So they said they would send me a picture of it before they put it in a box to send it off. And they did. And I said, whoa, you didn't even put your signature on it. And he laughed. And so it ended up here as an afterthought, really. But
I like it, though. I got to admit, I like it. I like the placement of it.
Yeah, it doesn't subtract from the picture itself.
Yeah.
So, yep. There is that.
Different signature that he uses on his sketch covers.
Then we got Detective Comics 1000. This one is
tilt that one back. We're getting a little bit glare off the monitor on that one, but
there it is.
Yeah.
And so it is actually slightly smudged because as much as I thought that this was dry, that glossy cover, and they warned me, but I put it back in the bag and it smeared it. But just the experience of meeting Jim Steranko, hearing all the stories he told everybody else, and then listening to the stories that he told me, made it a fun romp to stand.
Now, Jay, was he dressed like he was going to church on Sunday?
Oh, the turtleneck and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And he only
Yeah.
takes
Yeah,
he only
short-dressed
takes
man.
pictures with sexy women. So
I had a similar issue with a Scott Snyder book that was signed that had us that got the smear, and then I ended up I remember taking a picture of it and sending it to Daniel Peterson over there at PGX when I was grading at PGX and asking him whether or not they would still be able to verify the signature, and he was able to sit there and say, yeah, as long as it's got enough. It's minorly smudged. There's enough data points that the computers that they use are able to compare it against their stuff. So at least if you get a minor smudging, guys, just so you know, those companies that use the computer databases to verify signatures, they can get a close enough approximation that some of them are willing to do it.
then we got one I showed off on my channel.
Ooh,
Boy.
there's a book that's getting
Four-time
hot.
sign.
That
Yeah.
might be the first time X23 made her first time she's been on SlabHub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bought this from a guy who had it in one of those
Yeah.
CBCS pink labels.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I didn't like the case, didn't like the label. And I dropped it off at Fan Expo in Dallas in September. And I just got it yesterday.
Nice.
All it was a reholder. So that told you how long it took to do a reholder.
Yeah, they don't prioritize those very much.
Well, when the CBCS lady tells me when I drop it off at their table, those don't take long at all.
Yeah.
That's subjective.
It's still got to get received and sit in
So,
queue.
Craig Kyle, Joe Quesada, Josh Middleton, and Stan Lee for whatever reason. But you know,
Because it's Marvel.
exactly.
Well, Stanley presented it.
So Craig Kyle, for those who don't know, X23 actually made an appearance prior to comics in the cartoon. So Craig Kyle was one of the people associated with the cartoon. Josh Middleton done the cover, Quesada did the interiors, and of course Stan Lee, just because he's Stan Lee.
That's right.
Fabulous.
And
and for the record, CBS will tell you it was a red label, not a pink label. It doesn't matter what we all see it as. It's definitely pink, but they call it red.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought about having that one pressed, but I just didn't want to take the risk of it coming back a lesser book or lesser valued book, you know.
Yeah, because it goes to the recreating.
That was the one it was before. Keeping with multiple signed books, how about Dark Knight 3 Master Race?
All right. So
there it is. There's
there it
that
is.
Frank Miller.
Yep.
Miller, Klaus Johnson. Geez, why am I blanking at that's not Jim Lee, is it?
No, that's
Okay.
Brian Azzarello.
Right. And then Kubert down on the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fabulous. That's a great cover too to get signed.
Yeah.
So for some reason, the place I bought it from, they had it in this saran wrap, so I just kind of left it in there.
Yeah.
Wanted it to stay fresh. So I did get this done by Clayton Crane
Nice.
a couple of 3 years ago, and he only charged me $150.
Wouldn't today.
No, I think it had to do with the fact that it kept putting me off. I think he kept forgetting about it, and so he done it quickly, and he signed it down here and put his little fingerprint down there.
Nice.
And
I have his fingerprint. You can frame him for murder.
Or clone him.
There you go. And then also got this one done at the same show. This is Tim Seeley. So most people know Tim Seeley as more of a writer, but he's also an artist. He did Money Shot more recently. He did a run on Nightwing, but he also wrote Bloodshot. Now, the other thing about this particular book is it's an error because the cover is it gets glossed. So most sketch covers are not, because you worry about smudging. Right. But he worked it like a pro. And
glossy sketch cover.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he did the split Rye and Bloodshot. So
I am noticing a Bloodshot theme with you. Is a big fan of Bloodshot, are we?
Yeah, big fan of Bloodshot and Rye.
I like Rye myself.
But the thing with, and for those who don't know, Rye is a copy of Bloodshot that the New Japan came up with. So it's a little different in the old Valiant books than the new series. But if you've never read the Rye run that Clayton Crane did the interiors and the covers for, and Matt Kent wrote, it's a great read. Check it out. It's only like 12 issues.
Cool.
So
We getting close to the halfway point here,
let's see. 3,
roughly.
6, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I got about 12 more to show. Whichever
All right,
way.
all right.
why don't we go ahead and take a pause real quick here? We'll
All
go ahead and we'll get ready to do our giveaway here. And I just was noticing just now that this is almost reminds me of an episode of Sesame Street where one of these things is not quite like the others. One of these things isn't the same. So we got Chris, your background. I don't know. We just can't have it.
Put a slab up there, Chris.
There you go. Oh, let's go ahead and add to the stream here. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and hit that hashtag SCG181 and throw that up in there. We're going to do our giveaway for this week. We're going to go ahead and do a 7-book pull because the box is starting to get overfloweth and I have more books to add to this box. So we're going to do a seven book pull. While we're giving people an opportunity to hit that hashtag SCG181. Jason, why don't you tell us what's coming up for you this week on your channel leading into Christmas here?
Sorry to say, not very much. I'll probably have some unboxing videos, which I've been going live with those. But other than that, not much. That's what she said.
Okay. Anything else on schedule for before the new year?
Not on YouTube. I will probably be on Whatnot selling some books. If you go to my channel and any of the newer videos, there is a Linktree link, or if you go to Instagram, it's in the bio, and it shows all the different platforms that I'm on. But now, currently, I do a lot of giveaways on my channel, as many might know, by either being a member or doing a super chat during live shows. And this month, I'm giving away an Uncanny X-Men 266 first cover appearance. However, second appearance of one mutant named Gambit. So
Agreed.
Gambit, is he something? Never heard of him.
Yeah. Well, you know that Chris Claremont is actually coming out with a series of Gambit.
Really?
What's
And
funny is go ahead.
It's kind of like the X-Men Legends. It's like set years back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you kind of find out his history with Storm and stuff. But you know, it should be interesting. Hopefully it's the age-old Claremont that we all grew up that loved the X-Men back in the day. And it's not like the extreme X-Men Claremont. So.
I was just watching a walkthrough on YouTube from Chai Comic Girl, who was with us at C2E2, and her talks with Claremont, and he was talking about Gambit and why his chest piece was that bright color and left it that way was because that was where the body armor was, and to get people to shoot at the body armor. Interesting. Also,
you know the reason they came up with Gambit, right?
No.
Well, because Claremont wanted to use Longshot, but Longshot was a protected item from Louise Simonson and Art Adams. So you had to get approval to do anything. So he just came up with a character with, the fluffy hair and the way with the ladies like Longshot did. Nice. Same thing with Dazzler. That's why they came up with Jubilee. But anyway, that's an aside.
Right. So again, while you're hitting that hashtag SCG181 for the giveaway, we'll do that in just a second. Also down below in the description is the link to Southern Comic Geek's YouTube and Instagram channels. So you can also make sure you hit those, give him a follow in case you're not following him. We'll make it just that easy. Also down there, you'll find, of course, Chris, the Comic Vets information. Make sure you hit and like and subscribe, follow that gentleman as well. My brother here on Slab Hub. And and what the hell? As long as we're giving self-promotion, if you're enjoying this show and you haven't hit the thumbs up, why not do it? All right. let's we'll give him a 5 and a 4 and a 3 and a 2 and a 1. All right, let's go ahead and spin the wheel of fish.
Did I see Tom King in there?
That's what I thought I saw too.
wait, what?
Lucretius, congratulations, sir. You will be our first draw. We'll give our first set of draws to Lucretius. Of course, stick around because you can win twice on the show when we do our second later on in the show. So let me go ahead and put myself here to make myself big as we do the pool for Lucretius. Jason, you'll get to do the first one for us. Oh my goodness. You can see it's quite a full box. You can either, yes, you saw Tom King. Congratulations. You can either pick a number from the front, a number from the back, or we can give it some back to front action. Or front
That
to back
sounds
action.
good. That's what she said.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Whatever you'd like, and you can mix it up.
We'll go from the back.
Okay. Back to front, or just going to count from the back?
Count from the back.
Okay. How many?
10.
10 from the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Oh,
6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 from the back. What did I miss? That's
it's just
you think it's
it's
my
not
cousin.
this.
No, sorry.
This is not what we're
Oh,
looking for.
how about some Tyler Kirkham Star Wars
look at
War of
that
Bounty
color.
Hunters? Look at that. Darth Vader in the face mask
Reflection.
of Boba Fett. Phenomenal cover. Congratulations there, sir. All right. Next up, what are we doing?
From the front. 5.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth book from the front. Lucretius, I hope you like Star Wars, sir. How about the
What?
Legacy 0 first appearance? I think this is the first appearance of Darth Talon, as I recall.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious why that book is in that box.
Because I am crazy, and I have multiple copies.
Okay.
I see this with some good books too. You know, it's not just it's not that there's garbage in here, but I mean, it's not just like common stuff. There's some good stuff in here, man.
Yeah, it just doesn't have plastic surrounding it, so it's been put in the castaway pile, like the island of misfit toys.
All right. What do we do next? We got 5 more books to pull for this gentleman.
Okay, well, let's do make it easy. 2 from the front.
Okay, second from the front. We have some Strange Academy issue 4. This is the David Nakayama trade dress variant. Congratulations.
Magic is such a good character.
Indeed.
They've really fleshed her out. I mean, she was way underused, and they really brought her back.
Counting from the back this time, I assume?
Yeah, let's just do whatever's in the back. The first book in the back there.
Okay, first book in the back. Batman issue 50.
Oh, the wedding.
Non-wedding.
Yeah.
Non-wedding.
The wedding.
You are cordially invited. I can't remember whose variant this one is off the top of my head.
I think that's the A cover, ain't it?
It might be.
Is that Jim Lee? Yeah.
No. The Jim Lee was a pencil sketch.
All right.
And actually,
I'll look that up,
there's two. There's a pencil sketch, and then there's a full colored version. Both of mine are out getting signings right now. All right, so that's 4 books. We got 3 more books.
All right, so 5 from the back.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Harley Quinn issue 75, the final issue in the volume 3, the last of the good Harley Quinn. I don't.
Jay Anceletto. Is that a Jay Anceletto cover?
This is, yes, a Jay Anceletto cover. Very good. All right.
All right. So we're going to go from the front. We're going to go with the first book on the front.
Jla Scary Monsters, number 1.
That Batman cover was by Michael Janin.
All right, one more. So should we do a little?
Yeah.
All right. You tell me when.
Stop.
All right. Oof. We got a fatty. How about Detective Comics issue 500?
Anniversary cover. Yeah.
Very nice.
Obviously, it's a newsstand back then, but
Well, you can just do like most of the salespeople and say, "Oh, it's a newsstand."
yeah,
it's also worth much
more. It's not. It's only worth. It's only worth more if it's like a 9.8, maybe a 9.6. Otherwise,
Right.
it's just another book.
Well, yeah, it's always funny when somebody says, "You know, a 9.8 goes for this much." It's like, but that's not a 9.8.
So yeah, we got a bunch of different stories in this one. Stories from Walter Gibson, Jim Apro, Mike Barr, Carrie Bates, a whole bunch of people. Congratulations, their anniversary issue, Batman number 50. All right, let me put those books off to the side. Put this back up here so I can get it to it easier later. Oh my God, that's heavy. All right, especially from a seated position. Congratulations, Lucretius. I have your information, so those will go out this week for you. That brings us back to the man of the hour. And time for some more slabby action.
Slabby action. How about a 4-color 596, aka Turok number 1?
Del 4-color indeed for the win.
Wow.
So I've
Beautiful.
only seen this book out in the wild one time. And I saw it actually at a show, odd enough, because typically at a show, they're only putting stuff up there that they know everybody's hunting for, which is usually surrounding the MCU these days, or the big keys. And I passed it up. I said, well, I'll come back to it. It sold. So I found this one on Shortboxed, submitted an offer, and they accepted it.
Nice.
So from December of 1954. Little golden age goodness, huh?
Can you hold that back up just for a second so I can see the label?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Now, Jake, can you read us what the notes are for that on the right side of that label?
Turok Son of Stone, number 1. First appearance of Turok and Andar, and painted cover.
Beautiful. Yeah. Awesome.
It's a Turok that you can be proud to own.
Yeah.
Well, I could be proud of all 52 copies of Turok 1 that I have as well. The Valiant.
I actually dig the cover of that one, but it's
it's just become a joke, unfortunately.
It's just a punchline, sadly. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, it's one of those guilty pleasure books. Bloodshot 1, same way, that I pick up anytime I can find them on the cheap. And
I understand.
That's
how it was with Spider-Man 2099 number 1. Now I can't find them on the cheap anymore for some reason.
Yeah.
Some reason.
But somebody's sitting high on that spec.
So let's go this one right here. This is a sketch cover that I got done back in 2019 by Alan Bellman, who worked with all of the classics at Timely Comics back in the day.
Yep.
So I got this sketch cover done. You can see him, Hitler, looking over his shoulder. And
that is a jaw you can level a picture to.
And so he did it really quickly to be an 80-something-year-old man. This was, of course, in November of 2019. And then he died, in February of 2020. So only a few months prior to his death, I got this done by him. So
nice.
Right. I guess I did get his autograph, I guess, shortly before he passed away. But yeah.
Yeah, and at that time, CBCS still had all the pink labels, and so PGX was getting my non-verified stuff, or non-witness stuff.
Because gold was better than pink.
That is it. All right, so we've got the Immoral Hulk number 1. This is the Turkish edition, and as you can see, it is a homage to the king size annual number 1, Jim Steranko. Mm-hmm. It is also signed by the gentleman that done it, and it has the Steranko custom label up here.
Nice.
And if that wasn't enough, it glows in the dark.
No way.
So
it glows green in the dark. Hulk does.
Yeah.
That's just too awesome.
And so little far. Now there's some other versions of this foreign Turkish variant, or Turkish edition rather. I don't want to butcher this guy's name. You did. Well, I'm going to try to. You did race Sinar, but anyways, this is the version that glows in the dark. So I bought it already slabbed from One Stop Comic Shop.
Very nice.
So there is that. Let's do this book right here. So I'm probably not the only person that's gotten in and out of collecting over the years. Life happens, things move on. You go back to regain that nostalgia.
Writers make terrible stories in Spider-Man, like maximum clonage, and drive you away.
Yeah, exactly. So all those things happen. You come back and you immediately gravitate towards those things you used to collect. I did that. Some of those I've since moved on from. So my collecting has evolved in the last 2 years that I've been doing it again. But one of the books that I always remembered was Hulk 393. And because I bought this from a comic shop, and I was on the second level of the mall, which is where the comic shop was at. And I had walked out and I had it and I accidentally dropped it. And it hit the ground. I ran down the escalator and got it. And it was bent, which made me terribly mad. So when I got back into collecting, I went and found one, pulled it out of a dollar bin, never got it pressed. And it just happened to come back in 9.6. It was in that group of books I sent in at Memphis with that Wolverine one I showed earlier. And I got Peter David to sign it for me.
Nice.
Of course, that's an homage to another book, which might lead me into a segue of sorts. Hulk #1. This was one of the books.
I hope PJ's still watching.
Wow.
So this is one of the books that I wanted to get this year. And this book, like a lot of the early appearances of Marvel, has just gotten astronomical. Starting to see a leveling off on some of them, but that's another story. The point with this is that it's a coverless copy. So this is a facsimile cover. Mm-hmm. It's a reproduction cover. Looks just like it, does. And for those who don't know, PGX will grade it a 0.5 if that's what you're wanting, or if you want the others, I think they'll do an NG non-grade.
I think that you can get a 0.5 or a 0.3 from CBCS as well.
So that was what was wrong with it. I totally lowballed. I bought it from Elite Comics, who was co-signing it or co-signing it rather with another person. Totally lowballed them. Fully expected them to tell me I was off my rocker. However, they came back and they said, "Let's do it." I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, I'm okay with it. My X-Men one. I'm not a big fan of coverless comics, but when there's a book that you're more than likely not going to get unless you drop some significant change. Not to say that this one was cheap, but even for a coverless copy. But like my X-Men one, which I have since sold, it was that way. So
that's how I feel if it comes to AF-15. If I ever get one, it may be something like that. Other than my full facsimile that I have now, right? It's like you just go like
exactly. And if people will buy a page out of some of these books, then I can certainly live with a coverless copy. So,
yep. We actually saw a what was it? C2E2. There was a coverless, or no, was it? We're missing the front cover only. The back cover was there of GSX1. Mm-hmm. It was $500.
So slabbed. I was in Huntsville, and they had a non-slabbed. And it was a similar situation where they had half of the cover, but it was detached. The one was just missing altogether, the back. And they wanted over $1,000 for it. And I'm like, okay, well, you can keep it. So,
well, the first thing that strikes my mind when I see a book that's missing the front cover like that, the back cover's there, the front cover's gone. The instant I think of is, okay, that's a newsstand that didn't sell. And you tore the cover off is what you used to have to do, and you'd send those covers back, and that's how you got credit for the unsold books, because now it was destroyed. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the story with that book per se. But
sure,
unfortunately, it's the part of the cover that if it was missing the back cover, people would be buying that book up like no problem because
Right.
who cares? It's gonna hang out, slab it, hang it on a wall. I've got one; it looks great, but that front cover is a piece that you're missing. Now you have to go get that facsimile cover to marry it, and
Right.
but you know,
So this is a book that I bought, and I bought too many books at one time, and I needed to sell some, so I
never heard of
sold.
that.
Yeah, you never sold. Never
No,
heard of
no, I never heard of buying too many books at one time.
Oh, okay. Well, it's called being fiscally responsible.
Never heard of that either. If you've ever watched my channel,
So yeah, I'm like, I needed to sell some, and I've done that before. And when I sold it, I'm like, yeah, that's fine, it's gone. But then other books, I've done that, and I go, I really want to get it back. Hey, look, there's other ones out there. That's the case with this one because the original one that I bought was unsigned and it was already slabbed. This one I bought off eBay with the whole set of Iron Fist, 1 through 15, it's the whole
Sabretooth.
series. And I bought them and I paid an average of like $18 and some change per book. I had this one pressed and I got Chris Claremont to sign it for me, and it came back a 6.5,
nice.
which is a higher grade than the other one that I had.
Yeah, I admittedly I don't read X-Men books, but it seems to me that I haven't seen much about Sabretooth lately. He's been a quiet character for a while.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, very early into the House of X, Powers of 10, they put him into banishment. When I say for whatever reason, he killed somebody, which is against one of the Krakoan laws. So he put him into banishment. But now they're bringing him back. So that's why you haven't seen much of him lately. I don't know if they just didn't like that character. Is that why they did it that way? But so also New Mutants 87.
I almost forgot that book has a red cover. I've always seen the gold cover everywhere you go.
Yeah, and that's another one that we were talking about earlier with the second Prince. And
Right.
like, it was a throwaway, and I've seen it go for actually some money.
Well, I think it's just because of what it is, and that's you do see it go for some, but the red cover is still more valuable.
Desirable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one is signed by Fabian Nicieza, Louise Simonson, and Rob Liefeld.
Nice.
So I've got another copy that's a 9.6 CGC, but it's not signed at all. So, and I think the other copy's a direct. This one's a newsstand. But interesting thing, if for those who might not know, have you ever watched the Chris Claremont documentary on the X-Men?
I don't think I have.
I believe so.
If you're an X-Men fan, then it would, you would really like it. But the Louise Simonson, wrote X Factor. Of course, she would later marry Walt Simonson, known for his Beta Ray Bill and Thor work, among other things.
And X Factor.
But she was actually the model, if you will, for House of Secrets 92. So they modeled her likeness for that first appearance of Swamp Thing. So there you go.
It's a bucket list book for me.
Yeah. Well, and I blame Mark from Legion of Comics for this, but
we blame him for lots of things.
There you go. Well, especially as it comes to DC, because largely I've always just been Batman, DC. But with Swamp Thing, I started reading the Ron V stuff, liked it, went back and purchased the Alan Moore stuff, the big collected volumes, and have read that. And now I want a House of Secrets 92 as well.
I got to say, Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing is some of the best storytelling that came out of the late 70s and early 80s from DC, hands down. Like most comic book aficionados would agree that Alan Moore's Swamp Thing is arguably his best writing on a continuous monthly.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Big Dave Loves Comics says that's a very good documentary. But so keeping with the X theme for a minute, we got X Factor 68. I pulled this copy out of a dollar bin at a comic shop in Memphis, Tennessee, before the next day going to meet Chris Claremont for the first time. And again, never got it pressed, so it came back in 92. And the interesting thing about this, aside from the story, which this is the story that Cyclops has to make the decision to give his son up to save his life, which we know his son ends up becoming Cable. But I also, which is a really good story, by the way, but I posted this on my IG and tagged Chris Claremont in it, and Chris Claremont responded to my tag about the story.
Oh.
And he said, I really wanted Cyclops to, for him to stay there, and for Nathan to stay there and Cyclops to be a better father, so on and so forth, as opposed to what editorial obviously had other plans for.
All right.
So there is that. And how about a little teaser for something that you'll see a little bit later. This is the French Canadian version of Hulk 181. Now, from the if you're familiar with the channel, or if you see part of my comic wall all the way up to the ceiling, are variations of Hulk 181, either direct homages or versions of it. I've gotten sketch covers done in that likeness, all that kind of stuff. So typically I like to stay with, on the foreign side, like to stay with the ones that are, just like that, even though they might be a little bit different, but they still got the same pose. The reason why I got this one is because it is one of the harder to find foreign versions, and it was released shortly or around the same time as the American version, which is different than most foreigns because a lot of times they're released months or even years later sometimes. The reason why this one does not have the cover that we all know is because Marvel didn't get them the cover in time. So this is actually a scene from inside the book, and that's what they had to use for the cover.
I think the French Canadians just decided they don't like Wolverine. That's all.
They don't. They're like the guys from Alberta. They don't. No. And the Incroyable Hulk. But yeah, that's I've never seen that book before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and I'm next door to Quebec.
We're sorry.
Well, you got to think about
everyone's got bad neighbors somewhere.
It's with foreigners. They didn't have the board and bag culture that Americans have. Whether you're talking about French Canadians or even the French or British books, British print stuff, but so a lot of stuff didn't get kept up with, and the print runs were just so much lower than the American versions. But on occasion you'll see one on the eBay or on a Facebook somewhere. But so it's kind of a harder one to get.
Or those Australian books, right, Chris?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they print them on crappy paper.
Yeah,
in Australia.
Well, yeah, those tip top books.
I don't have it right here to pull out, so I can't reach and grab it. But I about a couple weeks back, I got some Golden Age books back from, and I had submitted some Golden Age 1951 Buck Rogers, Australian Buck Rogers books, and one of them came back at 9.6. Which is just insane, because their covers are basically like a heavy newsprint as opposed to the traditional glossy kind of paper that we're used to on a cover. So they just really don't hold up very well. But
yeah, and some of the Australian editions, that a lot of them have pinups in them, and so they come back incomplete because people would take the pinups out.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, and so in talking with some people that know a lot more about foreigns than I do, I was showing them some of the prices because I was bidding on a Batman 251 Australian edition, and that thing got up almost as much as what the American version cost, which you can see the American copy right behind me, right here, signed by Neil Adams. But so this is a Solar Man of the Atom #1. This is from the Bildhauser Research Archives. This is a Philippines edition, and it's signed by Jim Shooter and Bob Layton.
Wow.
Nice.
And so I've got an English version and a Mexican version of this. I've got Shooter to sign, so I've just got to get with Bob Layton so I can have matching pairs.
Nice.
Now, did either of those two creators make mention of the fact that that's the Filipino cover or the Filipino edition, or did they just sign it and off they go?
Oh, I bought it already.
Oh, okay.
So it when I went to Dallas Fan Expo last month, I had all the different versions, the German version, so on and so forth of Marvel graphic novel for first appearance of the New Mutants, and I just laid them all out there for Bob McLeod to sign.
Yes.
He goes, "Where did you get all these different foreign versions?" So it's interesting when you. I've done that with Chris Claremont on some books before too, like the Spanish version of Iron Fist 14. So it's interesting to catch the creator's eye when you do that.
Yeah, it's always fun when you present them with something you don't see on a regular basis. I mean,
Right.
I just was joking. But we went C2E2. I went to Keith Williams and I put Ravage in 2099 #1 in front of him, right? And he kind of, oh, Ravage, and I was like, oh yeah, I know, it's probably the only one you'll see here all week and whatnot. And he starts, but it opened up an interesting conversation because then he went into his conversation about that was the first time he ever met and worked with Stan Lee since Stan Lee was on that book, and being able to then became this very interesting conversation that I think sometimes is a great opportunity to spark those conversations when you can show them something a little bit different than what they see every single day. Now, if I could found a foreign version of Ravage, well, there you go. That would be
a French Canadian.
Yeah, and the thing with that too, I think some of the excitement from the creator is the fact that they feel like, okay, if this is a rare book or a book I don't see very often, this is probably not going on eBay the moment he leaves here.
right. Exactly. There's that, and it's good to know that okay, there's a character who gets a lot of gruff, right? But somebody likes that cover,
right,
and likes that character, or that entire timeline.
Well, yeah, I mean. Well, Spider-Man 2099 certainly made the timeline relevant.
I like them all. That whole 2099, that's my jam.
Yeah, I've got a 2099 over here. I got Peter David to sign a couple months ago.
Yeah, mine is off getting its second signature on it. But
so a book that I've owned several times. This is one like the Iron Fist 14 that I had to sell my original copy and then regretted it. So I bought another copy. And this particular copy I bought, just happened to pull up, and I was getting back to the hotel room, pulled up an IG live sale, and they showed it for $1,000. And I said, sold, buy it. And I got it cracked and pressed, and it came back way higher. So this is a 4/5 copy of Giant Size X-Men #1. Signed by Herb Trimpe. So there you go. So it had when I got it, I realized it had some definite creases that were very pressable. So I got it pressed. And so it was originally a CGC, but I did not trust CGC's pressers, like I mentioned earlier. So I sent this off to Eric, the comic_presser that Bert normally promotes, and got him to slab it and submit it to the CBCS, and they just verified it. And I kind of feel like I can't measure up to obviously your collection, Rob, because I mean it's like 1% of my collection slabbed. The rest of it's all raw.
Only about 1% of my collection is slab too, but.
So how many comics you have?
Well, about 7,000.
Yeah, I got 10,300. So yeah, you could probably do a little bit more than me, but
yeah, I'm sitting. If you count what's out, about 7,000 or 700 slabs. So there you go. Look at that.
So last but certainly not least, we got Hulk 181, signed by Roy Thomas, one of the co-creators of Hulk. And this is, of course, the John Romita face. We were talking about foreigns earlier. They didn't think that this face, or the face that Herb Trimpe had put on there, was sufficient, so they got John Romita Sr. to change the cover out, or the face out rather. But you can buy like the British version of that up there, and it actually has Herb Trimpe's face Wrong face on there.
So what is the qualified aspect on that one? Since that's the
Missing
yellow
the
green.
stamp.
You got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Boom.
That's what I would.
So the interesting thing about this, so when I sent it to get signed, because I bought it, it was already slab, and so I bought this 180 and 182 all at the same time from the same person, ironically from Canada, and so they sent it to me, and the slabs got damaged in shipping. The books didn't get. I mean, they were just cracked. You know, you could see where they had dropped them. So the person said, well, "Look, I just had them slabbed myself. I'll give you the cost of what they cost to get slabbed, and we can call it a day." Great. And I thought, well, you know, one day I'll do that. Well, Roy Thomas, like I mentioned earlier, not really liking mail-in signings. However, he is 80-something years old.
Right.
Yes.
So I sent this into Roy Thomas with some other books, my Conan 1 and some other stuff. And I had them cracked out and pressed prior to sending to the Roy Thomas signing. I thought that with the yellow label and the green, with the Hulk and Wolverine, it really went well with it. So this came back a 5.5. It was a 5.
Okay.
Nice. Very nice.
And it came back bigger. My Hulk 180 went from being a 4.5 to a 5. So it got a bump. And my 182 went from a trim pages to a regular label.
Nice. What?
Interesting. Interesting. The pages got
It grew
untrimmed.
back.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just like when I send books in and they're like off-white pages and they come back white pages and you go, oh, page whitener. Great.
Well, and the thing with the 182, I thought same thing with that. The purple and the gold would kind of go well with that. But they didn't give me that satisfaction. They said no.
I will admit that it is at least when you get those green and you get them signed, you get that green yellow, it's not as awful looking as just that plain, that whole green label is just the kiss of death on any book. I mean, it's so bad.
Exactly. And like that's the value stamp. So you know there I would venture to say that the majority of the ones you see with qualified label on that book, it's the value stamp.
100%.
And it doesn't affect the story.
Right.
The cover presents great, but you see that green label and then all of a sudden
run. Yeah.
I'm not touching it.
Yeah. It's the same way. Like I've been, I look at certain books and it's like, God, that green label is just like, I just can't do it. A purple label, I don't mind as much, especially on an old book.
Yeah.
It's depending upon what the purple is for. But when you get that green, it's just like, oh, I can't do it. Unless it's because somebody wrote on the book and I can just turn around and get it, that name written on cover, send it over to CBCS and all of a sudden have it verified.
Right.
Okay, fine. But man, some of those other things, it's just tough. Jason, that is a great first appearance. I hope that you'll grace us again down the road in the future, because I know you've got quite the slab collection, even just sitting there behind you, including that's
So I just got this in this month, and I'll show this one too, since you're a Golden Age guy.
Oh yeah,
Batman 112, little 10-cent goodness.
I just got that same book, but nowhere near that quality. Mine is raw and it has tape on the spine and that I didn't know about, but that one,
the freeze.
that is can you tilt it back just a little bit.
So yeah, it's a 1.0.
There you go. Who cares? It presents so well.
And a guy that I've been going back and forth with, he's a Batman collector. He's selling his 3.0. And I was telling him, I said, man, that's a pretty good price for considering what I paid for this one.
Right.
But this is the spine of cover is completely split and detached.
Right.
But both the front and the back cover are in there.
Yeah. It is amazing to me how much that book runs. That's just like
that's definitely one that got away from me because I could have got it much cheaper and I should have. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if the thing goes all the way up to the Batman 5 up there.
Yeah, that's my problem too. I have that issue where it kind of goes up and
or that's the Batman 5. First
I've seen that one. I've seen you show that off too. That's a
And then that 10 that's next to it, I got that from Joe Simon's grandson,
nice.
Simon Comics on Instagram. So he collects his grandfather's, work with Captain America and such. But he'll come across Golden Age books. It's funny because and I get the connection there. That's why he would do it. But it's funny because typically with the young guy, you don't see that love of Golden Age books.
Right.
It's more modern stuff, right? But he that's what he collects, and so he came across that one, and I bought it off of him.
Fabulous. Well, I am spent. I mean, you did something to no one else has really showed a book where my jaw was just dropped open wide and I didn't know what to even say about it. So that with that art sketch cover that was that homage to Batman 181, but I mean there's definitely some amazing books in there. Definitely hope that you'll consider coming on again for another episode down the road. Chris, your thoughts?
That French Canadian 181, that was just like that's a first timer for me, and like I thought I've seen a lot of different 181s, the Spanish and British, and I believe there might even be a German, but yeah, French Canadian, never seen that before. That's incredible, incroyable.
Before we run everybody out of here, let's go ahead and do ourselves another giveaway. Happy Slabadays. Go ahead and put that hashtag in there. Be careful as you're spelling it. To make sure you get it spelled correctly. We'll do another 7-book pull here on this as we get ready to head on out. This next week being Christmas, there will be no SlabHub, but we will return on January 1st with a new episode of SlabHub. We have joining us on January 1st will be Karate Kevin will be joining us for Superpower Reviews. So that's going to be exciting. Also coming up this week, let's see, today is Saturday. On Monday, I have a small mail call video coming up because I wasn't spending as much money on books on the online while I was at C2E2, but it is another amazing mail call. Thwip.
Yeah. Stick around. Well, no, I was going to say stick around, but DJ Links is in.
He charges us if we do that, so we can't really do that one. So, Chris, what you got coming up this week, sir?
Well, tomorrow I'll be doing 2 Cool Guys Swap Picks with Mark from Legion of Comics. Tomorrow night I should be appearing on his weekly show at Week's End. Monday I will be having a Boxed Heroes mystery box unboxing, and I will be announcing I'll announce it right here for the first time that I will be doing my 500 subscriber giveaway on December 27th. That's a Monday, so I guess a couple days after Christmas. I'll be giving away some stuff. Rob will kindly be giving away that beautiful Shannon Mayer Spider-Man #1 from the Abrams family Virgin variant, in which we see the mask is colored in red. And the funny thing is, I saw a couple of those covers in Chicago, but I did not see that particular cover. So if you want a chance to win it,
let's see. Get everybody in here. Hold on. Let me get this back right and then add that back. There we go. Yep. Yeah, no, I saw a lot of the regulars, but this was this is the 2019 New York Comic Con exclusive.
Yep.
So it's there's a lot less of that Shannon Mayer variant there, the color splash. Yep. That is but since I have 2 of them and that's the one that's not signed, I decided who better to give that one away for but on my brother here, Slab Hub. Our love of Spider-Man and Mary Jane must be represented no better way. Make
So,
sure
yeah.
you guys, while we're talking here, while Chris is going through this, I'm sorry, Chris, hit that hashtag happy Slabadays. I see 19 people watching. We have 12 entries right now. So 7 of you have either chosen you don't want to participate or you've typoed it. So go ahead and make sure you've checked that. Chris, go ahead. Sorry.
Everyone, before I continue, please hit that like button. Everyone, let's help out. Let's help out Rob's show today, and try and get it onto the algo. But yeah, Wednesday I'll be doing a new comic book day live stream, basically where I invite panelists and people to come on and just show us what you got. That'll be this Wednesday. But yeah, December 27th. It's a Monday, probably around 7 o'clock. I'll be going live, and we'll be giving away a bunch of stuff.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, Jay.
That is awesome, Saucer. And don't forget the 25th, you're going around to dress on your red suit and fly around the world and hand out presents, right?
Wait.
Secret identity.
The 24th.
Well, it all depends. The night, whatever. Yeah.
The time zone says the 24th.
At our house, we don't leave out milk and cookies. We leave out scotch and cookies. But
Well, that's why I hit your house last.
so you don't crash the sleigh, get pulled over for a DUF, drunk under or
Flying under influence.
Yeah, whatever.
FUI.
I can't think. All right, Jason, any last words before we pull this poll from you?
No, go check out my Linktree video or Linktree and see all the platforms on. Give a sub, follow as well to everybody else here today.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and spin. Ready, everybody together. Wheel of fish.
Tom King just blows my mind. Not that Tom King.
Dale of suspense. Congratulations, sir.
Well done.
All right, Chris, this is your time to give us some pulls. Get Dale some.
All right.
Some amazing books.
I know Dale is a JSC fan, so we'll see if we can find him some.
There
J. Scott
is
Campbell.
some JSC in here.
All right, let's go. Let's see. Since it's December, how about we go 12 from the front?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 12 from the front. How about some David Nakayama, Hellfire Club, Emma Frost there on the cover, the magazine covers.
That
Very
is
cool.
Incroyable. That is incredible.
Bringing out some fire.
Wow. Okay. How about 12 from the back, and then we'll go front to back.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We have Batman 444.
Very cool.
Stalking the Crime Smith.
Very good. Little Marv Wolfman had a good run. Okay.
Apparently.
Now.
Polybagged.
Wow.
Midnight Suns.
Dale, congratulations.
Congratulations.
That is one of the hottest books right now.
Still in the polybag.
Now.
All right, we get free comic book day, Spider-Man Venom, but this is a draw again bonus book. So you get that book, plus you get to draw again.
How about the first one?
Very first book.
Yep.
Very first book is Eternals #1.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right, so I have to move that one off to the side so when I'm counting books, I don't get confused. Okay, so we got 4, so 3 more books.
And now.
Cable, issue 7.
It's a great cover.
Phil Noto cover there.
Yep.
All right. This time I'll start from the front.
Now.
You, Chris, and your pools. How about GI
Whoa.
Joe? The
Oh my
first
goodness,
appearance
Dale.
of Lady J.
Dale's gonna owe me a beer after this haul.
All right. And
you-
1, 2,
and
3,
you
4,
dinner,
5,
but
6.
yeah.
Last book.
he's gonna owe you dinner. Okay. Now, I keep trying to grab that blue tab there, but I
The
missed
blue
it.
tape. I know. There's a delay. Remember, Batman, Dark Knight, Dark City.
Very cool. That looks like Mike Mignola's work on the cover there. Yeah.
Because it is.
Yes. All right. Is that 7?
That is 8 books. 7
Oh,
plus
8. Yep.
7 plus the bonus. So congratulations there to you, sir. Yeah, that tape is a bundle, multi books
Yeah.
to get together.
Well,
it's a
Dale,
special.
I'm sorry that I didn't manage to find the J. Scott Campbell that's in there, but I'm sure that you're happy with that incredible pull. Again,
Yeah, those
Rob,
some-
wow, your box again just ain't that the hellfire. Yes. Marv Wolfman written Batman, incredible. One of the biggest spec books of the year right there. Morbius #1. Eternals #1. Fantastic. Cable with that fire cover. G.I. Joe, massive spec with the UPC goodness there. And last but not least, the Hellboy creator Mike Mignola doing the bat. And
this year's Spider-Man. So
that's
this
actually a great cover too.
the last 3 years, the
Yeah.
free comic book day Spider-Man books have been really cool covers, and they've actually all carried at least a little bit of value to them. So congratulations.
Yeah, that Hellfire cover I managed to get
It's
my
reminiscent
hands on,
of those Natalie Sanders books.
the
Yeah.
Natalie Sanders. Yeah.
Yeah. David Nakayama, his series that he's been doing, both the magazine covers, which have been kind of homaging that whole Natalie Sanders thing that she did with hers, and then his pseudo negative space kind of covers have been fire. Just straight up, he's been on a tear. Congratulations. Again, yeah, there you go. Look at that. My yellow labels are in the.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, I have a blue label of that one too. I have yellow and blue label of that one just because I love that Mary Jane cover.
I got that one from Nick. Mm-hmm.
I know, I saw.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, everybody, thanks again for coming on out. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. Check out the links down below for both Chris, the Comic Vet's information, as well as Jason, Southern Comic Geek. Thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing this piece of your slab collection with us. Hopefully we were gentle, and you'll consider us going out with us again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's fun.
And everybody, until next time, guys, make sure you collect what you want. Don't listen to any of us, especially me, because I'm just a fat man with a fat stack of comics and a fat opinion. Thanks for watching.